Hello, second grade. Today we are going to work on a couple of different suffixes. We're going to work on FUL and LESS, so full and less. A suffix is a word part added to the end of a base word. It changes the meaning of the word. You can look up base words that you do not know in the dictionary. The suffix less, LESS, means without, and the suffix full, FUL, means full of. So let's look at some examples over here on the side. If we have the base word use, and then we add less, we have useless. We have the base word use again, and we add full, we have useful. So what is the meaning between all three of these words? Think about that and talk with someone close to you about the meanings of all three of those words. Okay, good. So use means it is something that is of value, right? And then useless would mean you don't need it. It's without value. You can't use it. And useful would be just the opposite. If it is useful, the book was useful, that means it was helpful. And we do the same thing with the word pity. And when you add full, you have pitiful. Notice we change the Y to an I. Pitiful. That means it is sad. Sleep. If we add LESS, less, if we add that suffix, what do we have? Sleepless. That means without sleep. And then at the bottom it shows us two phrases. First, it has a selfless act. A selfless act. So think about that for a minute. What would a selfless act mean? There's a clue that gives us a better understanding of what that means. Doing something that shows you care more about others than yourself. Because we know less means what? Without. So you take your base word self and you think, without that, you are selfless. So a selfless act means that you do something for someone else and you're not really thinking about yourself. And the next phrase that they give us is felt thankful. So if you feel thankful, what does that mean? So the suffix full means full of. So what do you think you are full of? You are full of thanks. You are full of gratitude. So if I feel thankful, I am full of thanks, full of gratitude about whatever happened or someone. Now let's look at some other words. Okay, let's talk about a few other words, and if we add that suffix LES or FUL to the word, how it changes the word. So if I have the word wonder, WONDER, what if I add FUL to the end? What word do we have then? Wonderful. Good, wonderful. That was wonderful news. That means that was good news. What about joy? JOY, joy. Add FUL again to joy, and what new word do we have? Joyful. Joyful. Full of joy. Full of happiness. And the next word to think about is spot. S-P-O-T. Spot. Could we add FUL to that? Spotful? That doesn't make sense, does it? How about LESS? What would that word be? Spotless. Yes. My kitchen floor was spotless after I mopped it. That means super duper clean. And the last word to think about is beauty. B-E-A-U-T-Y. Beauty. What if I put FUL at the end of that base word? Remember, change that Y to an I and you have beautiful. The butterfly was beautiful. Okay, for our mini lesson today, before we reread parts of our story, I Am Helen Keller, we are going to talk about text features and what that means. And we are going to look for those when we reread the story. So text features. Authors choose text and graphic features to help explain ideas or to help readers locate information. So it makes things stand out, easier to find, and it also helps them to get their point across. So one example is punctuation. Punctuation gives clues about how to read a text. Remember in reading groups when we talk a lot about your fluency and how you have to pay attention to the punctuation to know how to change your voice and when to stop and when to slow down? It's the same thing. Authors do the same thing. So a long dash means to pause for a short time, such as, she told me what I wanted to hear. There's your long dash. I could get a puppy. And then an ellipsis, I hope Miss Casey's saying that right, are made up of 3 small dots because for a little longer when you see these, so like, or you pause for a little longer when you see these. So no, ... wait, ... So I always like to say it means there's more to come, but wait, there's more to come. Text in all capital letters means pay attention. It tells you to read with more feeling. So look for all of those things when you are reading a book, and it will help you know the author's message even better and know the point that the author is trying to get across. So look again for your long dashes, your ellipsis, and your capital letters. Okay, second grade, hopefully yesterday you have read the story, I Am Helen Keller, and you've asked yourself those questions that we've talked about. Now what I would like for you to do is to go back and reread the whole story to yourself, and then I want you to turn to page 21. And we're going to talk about some text features on this page, page 21. So I'm going to play this page for you, and then we're going to talk about what we see.
I know it seems scary. It was scary for me, too. Back then, people didn't know how to deal with someone who was deaf and blind. My relatives thought I was a monster. You see the way she behaves? She put her hand in my plate. She ate my food. Wah, 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 wah. She's trying to find her water. She threw the silverware, too. She's so poorly behaved. She shouldn't be here. They were right. I wasn't well behaved. I was extremely frustrated. In my dark world, I couldn't tell if anyone noticed me or cared about me. I couldn't see or hear what I was doing. But by the time I was 5, I'd figured out small ways to communicate. To say yes, I nodded my head. For no, I shook it from side to side. To say father, I motioned to put on his glasses. For mother, I rested my hand on my face. For baby sister, I did this. And when I'd shiver like I was cold, it really meant, Helen wants ice cream. Shiver, shiver, shiver.
So yesterday I asked you the question when we read this page, when Helen was 5 years old, how did she communicate with people? And we said that she nodded her head yes, shook her head no, and made actions that had meaning. So look at those pictures carefully at the actions that had meaning, and what do you notice about the text above each picture? I see some ellipsis, the ... See where it says for baby sister, I did this, ... And when I'd shiver like I was cold, it really meant ... So the author uses this to remind you to pause. Something big is coming up, and he wants you to pay attention to it. Now go ahead and look at page 24. Why is this an important moment in Helen's life? We talked about that yesterday in the story. So I want you to reread page 24 and see if you can find any text features. Great. I see one right after the word approached, one of our vocabulary words. Someone approached, and there's your long dash, so that means we pause. Someone approached. I could feel footsteps. Now let's turn to page 29 and 30. Listen carefully and look again for those text features.
Never losing her patience, my teacher took me outside. At a nearby spout, she put my hand under the running water. In my other hand, she spelled the word W-A-T-E-R. W-A-T-E-R. And then she spelled it again. W-A-T-E-R. And again, W-A-T-E-R. And again, W-A-T-E-R.
So looking at page 29, what do you notice about the words you understand on page 29? They are darker and slanted. They have an exclamation point after them. It actually has two. So why do you think the author did that? Because he wanted you to feel the meaning behind it. He wanted you to feel the meaning behind it. How does the author want you to read these words? In an excited way. And why? Because Miss Sullivan realizes that Helen understands the name for water. So she was very excited. Okay, looking at page 30, I have a question for you. I want you to think about, what do you notice about the illustrations? So this time, instead of looking at the words, look at the illustrations, the pictures. Helen appears 7 times in the illustration. There are words that are in red, all capital letters, and followed by an exclamation point. What do the words in the illustration stand for? The names of all the objects Helen knows the names of. So why do you think the author shows these words this way? Helen finally knows the names of objects and understands that everything has a name. So as you reread the rest of this story, I want you to look for those text features to help you with your understanding of reading. And remember to do that when you read books in the future.